Go over to streaming stuff and we're going to talk to Apple TV Plus. And we are going to talk The Lost Bus. So, Sharon, tell us about The Lost Bus.
Yeah, this is their big film release of the next couple because they sort of have these sort of big event films, don't they? Where they go coming soon, coming soon, coming soon. It's here,
Yeah.
and and so I will fall for it every time. And I go, oh, I'll watch that then. And
It's like they're like well done, like a nice, good
yeah,
Apple
yes,
Apple customer. Let's go with customer.
you've reeled me in for that one. So anyway, yeah, Lost Bus is their big film at the moment, based on a true story. Those people who are living in America will probably be more familiar with it than we are over in this country. But it is set in 2018 when there was a series of wildfires. As we know that they have more or less these sort of forest fire wildfires every season, every when in the
Yeah,
sort of late summer, autumn, because ground gets the ground gets dry. Something triggers a fire, and then it can just engulf hundreds of square miles of
yeah,
land. And this is a particular story of a particular wildfire that was triggered by a faulty electric line. One of these pylons, a wire basically came loose and set some sparks, and it just set the ground all around this pylon on fire.
yeah,
And then because the line was shorting out, it then sent this shorted wire sent the fire basically another spark sort of 10 miles away and then set it off there. So you suddenly go from having this isolated fire to this huge conflagration that started sort of leaping and spreading at this sort of exponential rate. So
and
within
I'm guessing that this is set in California as well. Then.
California, yeah,
Yeah,
California, and the main characters we see is Matthew McConaughey. He's a man who's returned to his hometown, having been away for a number of years. He's looking after his mum, and he's got a teenage son with him who's they're having some sort of family issues, and he's taken a job as a school bus driver. Basically, in again American culture, not so familiar to us from this country, but the big yellow school bus is a big thing, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
That everyone who lives outside of a town, they'll get collected by the bus, taken to school, and at the end of the day, they're delivered home.
yeah.
And he has done his morning round when this fire has got very close to a school on the outskirts of town, and he's the nearest driver. So they say to him, "Can you go and pick up these children and take them to the evacuation point, and then just take them back to their parents?" So he gets his bus, 22 children and a teacher, and he basically has to drive them a few miles just to take them to where it's safe. But this the fire is moving faster than they are, and before he knows it, basically he and his bus are just surrounded by fire on every side.
Yeah.
And this is the story of how he basically got his bus through this awful conflagration. And it evolves around the town of Paradise.
Yep.
Even though you may not follow the news of these sort of stories, that is a town name that obviously because of the irony of it, that a town called Paradise is engulfed by this awful fire
Yeah.
with devastating loss of life, devastating loss of property. And this is like a good news story that came out of it. The fact that this man in his bus um, sort of did everything he possibly could to
Well, you see,
help these
because I guess that's a matter of historical record. You know that these
Yeah,
people survived, but the thing is because it's a Paul Greengrass film, so he did United '93. He did like most of the Bourne movies and everything like that. I was like, Paul Greengrass, even if they died, he will probably still make a film about it. So,
yeah.
so it's. But what
Yeah,
did you
so
think of the film?
they did ramp up the tension because where I vaguely knew the story, I didn't know the details of it, of course, and I didn't know about this story at all. But I thought if they're, again, I like you, I thought if they're making a film about rescuing small children, presumably they succeeded in rescuing small children.
Yeah.
You're not going to sort of invest in the lives of these children for them to go, oh wow, they had a good effort, but they all died.
It's
So we do know ultimately that he did save these children, but they do manage to invest the film with tension, with moments of crisis, and you're wondering like how on earth did they get out of this? 'Cause if you don't know the story, then it does draw you in,
yeah,
and the fact that it is based on sort of real lives sort of adds an element of sort of pathos to it because thinking, oh, these poor children, what they went through. But ultimately, it is a story about this one man, how he's largely sort of written off as a sort of man who's like not got many prospects. He's just
yeah.
doing this. and how he sort of know this sort of an every man becomes a sort of, in certain circumstances can become a hero, and so Americans love that sort of thing.
Well, yeah.
And I think that it sort of feeds into that mythology of that in the heart of any sort of man from the there is that hero within him sort of thing.
Yeah, in the heart of every man, there's a hero waiting for the right circumstances to burst
Um,
out.
so it could be horribly sentimental and it could be quite nauseating, but actually they did it very well. They restrained that element of it, that sort of they restrain themselves from doing that, and so I thought they actually did it very well. So um, it's a film that, yeah, I thought was quite engaging. I enjoyed it. I didn't know the story particularly, so it was something new for me to watch. But yeah, so I thought what they did very well. I would still give it. I thought the performances were well. They were again convincing, sympathetic where they need to be, without sort of yeah. They did it well. I don't know how like the real people they are because obviously I'm completely unfamiliar with them. But no, I thought they delivered a good job. But I would still probably give it a three. It's a good three. But I would say it's a three-star film. Even though the performances were engaging, the story was engaging, I'd still think yes, it's solid entertainment with a little bit of danger in it, a little bit of peril, but it delivered. So yeah, I thought it was well worth watching, but it's still a three. It's a three, a strong three, but a three.
Yeah, yeah, because I think the fact that it's Paul Greengrass means that for me that negates a lot of my worry that this is going to become some schmaltzy USA, USA.
Oh yes, yeah,
I
yes.
think
I would
he
have been like hand on the remote.
yeah,
You say that
I
again,
think
and I'm out.
I think being British, I think he is allergic to that stuff, and
Yes,
also I think
that
it's
probably makes a difference. Yeah,
yeah, it's Matthew McConaughey and America Ferrera, the main big names in this, aren't they? All
yes.
right, cool. So